We're at the regular meeting of the Borough Board to order at 7:18 p.m. We'll have Bob lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the regular meeting March 3rd, 2026, and the special meetings of February 26th, 2026, March 10th, 2026, and two public hearings, March 3rd, 2026. Each member received copies for review.
Second. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the monthly reports of March. Each member received copies for review. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'm gonna start off with a piece of good news, breaking news. We received some information on our solar project at the high school, and it's much more favorable than we anticipated as far as the amount of energy we're creating and the benefits. And we're all gonna like it, but I'll say the technical people even more that we now anticipate there will be enough benefits to not only take care of the forest schools, but we can also complete Andrew Avenue and Western School. So it's we're gonna have to revote that motion and modify it. Matt Ritter, our lending attorney, is working on it, but it looks like there's been some changes at the state level in how they weigh things, and some additional solar. So it's a pretty significant upgrade in the energy we're creating, which means that the benefits we get in return will be even greater. And that's good news because our let's just say our capital plan for the referendum, our Johnson Controls solar project in schools, we're going to be in a really strong capital position. So it's very good news.
I have a question.
Yep,
Will we have to replace any older roofs before we put the solar on?
it's part of the package.
It is. Wow.
It's good. You said Western. Are we gonna keep Western, or was that a building that we were gonna be?
An astute question. Under the old plan, no, but it seems to be the consensus that Western should stay. Now, that hasn't been decided yet, but that's what, that's the direction we're getting from, I'll say, our friends at the Board of Education. But
The Western school building was garbage. A lot of work needs to be done.
well, let's say the mechanicals will be taken care of by this. Now, as far as the exterior of the roof, I don't know, but that's, those are separate.
Is there a separate plan for Western school?
No, the Western School would fall into the package that we would do after the new school is. So Western would be the same as City Hill and any other school, any other elementary school that we would operate.
Essentially, Western is the player to be named later. They don't know what's gonna happen with it till after the big project's done. I mean, I know, we had discussions in the long term at one point saying that there had been a request for a better facility for alternative education, if they needed to set up a facility, or like just Scabby, but on a bigger, better facility. But I agree, Western's. Sure.
So what that means is that we're gonna reconvene a long-term facility committee and finalize the Western School issue. And I'll say this, if we decide not to do Western or not to repaint it. The leftover money can be used for a sale of school. The difference is that if we use it for the school we're retaining, we'll get 75% reimbursement. If we go to this building that's not a school, which sale would not be anymore, you don't get the reimbursement. So if we're gonna keep Western, it's a much better place to use the money.
Would Western be considered I'm gonna call it the vocational school? Where you
Well,
can move a lot of those different vocational things into that facility if need be.
I would say, if we don't keep it as an elementary school, that's a good possibility. If we keep it as an elementary school, it'll be an elementary school.
Yeah, because City Hill was going to be K, it was going to be
Anyway,
fully
it's
K.
still on the long-term facility.
Yeah, I know.
She will get involved in this.
Yeah, I'm.
Anyway, anyone here, who is on that?
Me and
Charlie,
Charlie,
Bob, me,
yeah,
anyone else?
they're all dead.
Who's good? For so long.
It's been 14 years.
I think it's longer.
Yeah, well, probably.
It's turned into Supreme Court appointment.
John Hunt was on it. Rebecca, I believe, was on.
Long time.
Yeah.
I think Melissa's. Well, yeah, he's super. Oh, he was on that.
Don Dingle Gibson.
Yeah.
It goes back to him.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Hey, Kim's got a question.
Yes, Kim.
No, just noticing if you're down to 4 members on the long-term planning committee, I would be more than happy to volunteer for that.
Okay, we're not down to 4, but we had about 16. I don't know how many are left, but we're gonna have to resurrect the committee, so your comment has been noted in my brain.
Okey doke, thank you.
All right, so now we'll go to public comment. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? Jim Kay?
Negative.
All right, last call for public comment. All right, we will now proceed to our Naugatuck Ambulance Corps report. Kyle Kelly. Chief?
Popping in. All right, chief.
Sorry about that. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. Just some updates. I apologize I'm not there in person. One of the things that we have going on tonight is we have a few of our EMTs and one of our paramedics that's getting an award in Prospect for a call that they did. I don't know if you guys remember the motor vehicle accident that happened in Southbury a few weeks back, month and a half maybe, where there was a number of students injured. We actually went down there, mutual aid, and did some transports out of there. So Mayor Bob out of Prospect was doing some recognition for all the responders involved. So just some kudos to those folks. We are significantly busier than we were last month and this time last year. In the report, I've included at a couple of requests some of our calls that we've done at Kind Care and some of the other places that we've been going to regularly. Go Health, Urgent Care, which is one of the new urgent cares in town. Kind Care, we're there fairly regularly. I would like to say we did have our first, we'll call it major, I guess, incident up at the Amazon facility. It was a very, very big undertaking by all of the services that responded up there. We all did a really, really good job ourselves. The police department, Naugatuck Fire Department, and Waterbury Fire Department. We had an individual that suffered a medical emergency up on the 4th or 5th floor and we safely and quickly extricated him down and got him to the hospital for treatment. So that was something of note. Two quick things. We are working on some additions to our service in town. I did apply recently for a grant through the Saunders Foundation. We're looking at trying to get some what's called point of care ultrasound machines, something that's not very widely used in Connecticut. There's only a few services in the state that actually do it, so we'll be one of a few, if not a handful, that have this to help with this different diagnostics and IV placement and early diagnostics of injuries and bleeding and things like that in the field for better treatment. We're also looking at partnering with Yukon Health, Waterbury Hospital, and adding whole blood to our service, something that's been happening throughout the state and throughout the industry and the country for a while. And we're working on a partnership with them to add that to our service to benefit obviously our community, but the surrounding communities that we may end up at as well. And that's what I have.
All right, questions for Chief Kelly?
Kyle is being too shy about that Amazon call. Because I don't think people realize exactly what it entailed. It's one of the reasons that there should be and always will be coordination among departments and drills. So when something like this happens, everybody knows their role and everybody knows what to do quickly. He mentioned it was on the 5th floor. We're not talking the 5th floor like you go up to your bedroom. We're talking about going up a staircase to landing, going up a staircase to landing. That's 1 floor. And you're doing that 5 times. Carrying equipment up that high, boy, you're pretty tired when you get to the top of those stairs. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. Then you got to figure out the logistics of this person is there. How the heck are we going to get this person down? And you've got options, whether you're going to put him in a Stokes basket and put him on a rope under, say, the ladder, or if you're going to put him in a basket, put him on top of the ladder, are we going to carry him down? The decision that was made was they were going to carry him down. Now, normally you could put a person in a stair chair. It's a foldable chair with handles and wheels and treads like a tractor, and it just glides down the stairs. But because of the medical condition of this person, that wasn't possible. So he had to be carried down 5 stairs. And if you want to talk about coordination, you get pretty tired carrying a big guy down, right? Those 5 flights. So they would take turns. A group would take him down, another group would switch, take him down, another group would switch, take him down. So that's why the training and the coordination was so very important, not just among fire department, police department, ambulance, but also among towns. Because we know anything that's going to go on there, Waterbury is going to be involved. So there will be ongoing training just to practice for things like this so that lives can be saved and it can be much easier on the caregivers. That's it.
Thank you. All right, last call for questions for Chief Kelly. All right, we will go to item 8, downtown enhancements. And let's start with breasts. Paul Montel.
I'm gonna. Were you on and then go home? I think when I closed my laptop, it's also. Yeah, thank you again for letting me come and talk about this today. Really excited with some of the updates that we have for this project. So just a couple of updates. The final street design has been created, the one specifically about the Stanford White buildings. So I have that to showcase to you all today. Also, Julie introduced me to Stephen from Octave High School, who will be assisting with the actual signs. So working with the shop team at Octave High School to create those informational pieces that add more context to the artwork. So we had a quick conversation. Sounds like he's having work on it. I also communicated with Rocco, just about getting some things finalized. We have 2 of the 3 submittals, which I have in this presentation as well. And we'll kind of talk about what next steps will be with that, but I think essentially what I need to do is just connect him with whoever we'll need to speak to at the town to discuss the logistics of his portion of the project. And then there was just one point that I'll notate when I show you the submittals, that decision that Rocco came up with for the border, but I think it's going to be really helpful just to ensure that they last as long as possible. So this is the design that I came up with for the 4 different Stanford White buildings. As we discussed, this was definitely the most challenging because there's just a lot to showcase, right? And I wanted to organize them in a way that was easy to understand, and doing a collage where everything is all in one piece, I think would have been a little bit messy. So really, when you look at this and you look at it in comparison with all of the designs together, we have, of course, the train station, which has some of those key elements. We have the Tuttle House graphic. And then this one is segmented to showcase all 4 of the different buildings, those pieces of architecture. You'll notice that for this one in particular, I added a little moon in there just because, of course, since the church is so narrow, I wanted to kind of balance that out a little bit. But I think it adds to the overall look of the finished product.
Nice.
Awesome. Glad you like it. So really where we're at with this is if everybody enjoys where this is, I could also give it to Rocco. You can send it to that manufacturer and we can get the final submittal for this one as well to actually be produced.
Should we finalize size?
Yeah, so I'll go over to that right now because these are the submittals that he sent over. There's a couple of really small details that I'm just finalizing with him, but basically this is how it's going to be. So the final size, based on his suggestion to add this black border around it, would be 6 foot 8 inches. The reason for that is because the way that I had them designed previously, the white was on the outermost portion, and he said that with snow plows and things over time, that would show wear a lot quicker than something that's just black on the outside. So it's kind of like a protective element that'll keep it looking cleaner for longer. So these are all set. And to me, I mean, it looks like they recreated it really, really well. There's a couple of things like consistency with the font weights here. I noticed that in the submittal, it's thicker, the established there, as opposed to this one, which is kind of nitpicky, but I just want to make sure they're as perfect as possible. So I did reach out about that. And then beyond that, like I said, really it's just a matter of getting the signs planned, so where things are going to go. I know a lot of that is going to depend on the exact placement of the seals, which I think is another conversation that Rocco could have with whoever is going to be taking that aspect on. Because once we have that information, we'll know, what aspect ratio to make the signs in that are going to be informational, and we can start designing those. As you know, last month I showed you what one of them could look like. That was designed horizontal. If we do decide that something like this that we have down by the bridge is better, it'll be easy for me to reformat that. So, yeah, really next steps. If everybody
Let's
likes,
go back to, does everyone like the most recent one?
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate the symmetry of the 2 brick structures and the 2 Roman revival. Being diagonal, so there's a nice symmetry to it.
awesome.
People at the Concord like the fact that they get chocolate chip cookies and you go to church.
Exactly.
I like
All
the
right, so
balance.
let's talk about location. We're gonna put the Tuttle building one somewhere near the Tuttle building.
I would assume so.
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna put the most recent one somewhere near the library or
Say
the
that, yeah.
street,
What's that street in front of the church? One end,
Franklin Johnson.
Vision Street.
one end of,
It should be somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
either in front of Salem or in front of the library.
Yeah, we're on the street, and then, what about, and then the train station will be near the train station.
Yeah.
Now, I'll just say this, when these are done and in the ground, that doesn't mean we can't do more. So we can always, like, I look at the town is a work in progress. We're gonna keep making it nicer. More and more people are gonna be living there and walking around, and we'll just keep going. But to me, this is a nice start, and we can just keep expanding, right, Paul?
Absolutely, yeah, and that was a big goal of mine in doing this too, is I wanted to turn it into sort of like something that is branded, right? So if we do want to incorporate something else, we have this sort of general framework that we can continue to use and just make it something that now the country's known for having something that looks like this around town. So I'm super excited to actually see what they look like once they're on the ground. It'll be awesome.
So next steps, what's your next step?
So my next step is I'm going to send over that final art piece to them. I'll send it over tonight. You still have to go and get one of these made for the final submittal, just to show what the actual rendered work looks like. And then I just need to know who I can send Rocco to so that he can get the submittals and the pricing for everything sent out. Since that'll be more on his end.
So that would be Mr. Jim Stewart, you know Jim, right?
Yeah. Perfect. So I'll get that coordinated and then once the other part will just be doing that exact placement. Realistically, we just need to know where the signs are gonna go as well. That will be important just because we're gonna determine how much room we have and do we need permission from somebody or something like that.
Well, it should be all town property.
Right, okay. So, yeah,
Unless there's a sign on tunnel, I don't know if we need permission for that.
Oh,
No?
I would just check with zoning for size.
Yeah.
okay,
One thought too, when you asked about two signs, my feeling is I really don't like the completely flat uprights, they obstruct view.
yeah,
Right,
okay,
the angled one promotes a view of the literature you're having there, plus what you're looking at.
Mhm.
And if we're gonna put them on the street, the sidewalks, obstructing view, people want to cross the street or whatever, like to limit that obstruction.
okay, yeah, definitely. I think that this lends itself more to that too, so I think the horizontal, especially if we have the space for it, would be cool. And I did already send this over when we were talking about actually getting these made out of wood from the high school shop. And said that type of thing is totally doable. He also had some cool ideas that we'll be able to take the crest that I designed and have a portion of the wood where it's kind of like burned into it too. So it'll be a really cool visual thing, for sure. But awesome, yeah. So I'll get that submitted and I'll get the email introduction with Jim and Rocco set up so that they can start talking about this aspect of it. And then yeah, we should be good to get the rest of the signs set up. So who would I contact at zoning to figure out where we can put these?
I'll ask questions.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know if it was discussed before or if anybody asked about what happens when there's micro paving or on the road, sealing the road.
Oh, okay. So I don't know the logistics of that. That was definitely more of a question for Rocco, but he did say that for all intents and purposes, everything that he's done has never been affected by that. And also, if for whatever reason there was a piece that needed to be replaced, he can't actually do like small pieces of it.
Julia's are gonna.
Julie,
Yes. Hey, Paul, how long did Steve say that would take at the high school? Will he be able to complete that before the end of the year?
So the goal, I told him that the goal is having this stuff ready for the 4th, and a lot of that is going to he said that should be doable. It's really just going to depend on solidifying that design, that size. Because once he makes the template for one, it'll be easy for him to make the other two. So that's why I'm trying to just get the placement as soon as possible, so we can get those details figured out.
But
Okay.
at a minimum, we want those completed before July 4th. Correct,
Right.
that should be no problem, right?
Yeah, definitely. I know he said that for the actual manufacturing of the seals, when it gets a little busier, which is when it starts to get warmer, is about 2 months, which is why it'll just be important to get that final approval for things as quickly as possible. But yeah, I don't think we should have any problem getting this off the road.
Good.
Sounds good.
Questions for Paul? All right, good work.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
All right, also downtown, there's been a lot of discussion about parking and it's gonna change over the years. But what I want to do is get a discussion started with a couple of Burgesses, some downtown people. And I'll tell you this, having owned property in downtown for a long time, everyone has a different opinion. But the consensus in most towns seems to be that in situations like this, we would have an app. Which would be, in other words, no meters, an app. And it would work something like this, and this can be discussed, massaged, and even changed with the apps. But let's just say on the main downtown street, you'll have, say, 90 minutes or 2 hours free, and then a charge at a premium rate and a fine for exceeding time. On a secondary street, not too far away, it would be somewhat cheaper. And then the furthest spots away would be cheaper parking. So the idea would be to get the people who work downtown, who are gonna park all day, to park further away. And when I say further away, it's sort of like 150 yards as opposed to 10 feet. So,
Still close to a lot of parking spaces at Walmart.
Yeah.
right. So, are there any Burgesses that would like to get involved in talking with the merchants about it? Caitlin? All right,
They're
anyone
already
else?
talking to me about it, so
What?
I said they're already talking to me about it, so
Yeah,
we formalize
but do
it.
you follow what I said?
Yep. My
And
question.
I'll get you the apps. There's one that is preferred by, I'm gonna say, most of the towns, so it seems to work the best. We don't have to pick them, but it's effective.
But, or, go ahead, Rosie.
No, I was gonna say, aren't most of the spots numbered so that when you have the app, you choose the number where you're parked?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's
That's
where
kind of
we'll
like how-
get the details, but I've been on a whole bunch of them, they're all a little different. But there's one that seems to be the most popular now in most small cities.
My question, in the long-term plan scheme of everything, all the parking, et cetera, parking everywhere, there will be a lot of free parking. Is that's the lot over there? Will there be any free parking at all down
Well,
there?
that's to
No,
be determined.
okay.
That's what you're gonna.
As part of the parking.
Well, I think the lot, right, the lot that would connect, right, with the train station that we've talked about, where people would, park, ride the train. Yeah, the municipal lot.
Will not be free.
Oh, it won't?
Well, the problem is, right now, the people who work downtown all park there all day.
Mm, yeah,
Me too, and one of the things will help, as you guys discuss it, is that once old firehouse is done,
yeah,
and it's more appealing, if you're gonna encourage people to either a discounted or a free parking.
Yeah.
Make that the place to park, because it really is the best darn place to park downtown.
Yeah.
Once that road is fixed, you can get to any establishment and it's still closer than some large parking lots at any big box local.
yes.
I'd really like to see more people parked on Old Firehouse, but right now it's not appealing because it's bumpy.
I like the first part free. I think that's important, like the 90 to 2 hours, so you can go out to eat.
Apparently, these apps can all be changed.
I think
and adjusted.
I'm in favor of
So
that.
if something doesn't work or we need more time, it's easy to adjust.
I'd also like to see a contingency for people that don't have their phone with them.
Right.
My wife yells at me all the time, because I leave it open.
Mm,
For seniors in general that don't have them, or if they have them, they're only for emergency purposes. I can speak like for my in-laws, and last time we discussed the possibility of coming up with a parking system that would be an app or whatever. People in their late 80s and 90s, they don't want anything to do with that. They really don't. And it's hard for them to embrace that because, again, a lot of older folks who carry a phone, they're only carrying because their kids bought it for them and said, have this for emergencies. They don't really care much for them.
I carry mics, my wife makes me.
So we just gotta keep tabs on it. If she put one of those air tags on the track.
Get a tip on, just give it a list.
Yeah, that's different.
Julie said that she'd like to be involved too.
That's our question.
Someone who actually owned a business downtown, that's perfect.
All right, so I'm formally appointing a subcommittee of Julie and Caitlin to begin looking into this.
Chief, that's a question. Chief.
Oh, see,
To answer that question, they usually will have a box. You can manually do it in a centralized
Yeah, that's what I
location.
was gonna say.
But if the committee would like to reach out, we did do a study about 5-6 years ago on some of the meterized parking downtown. I could dig that up
Sure.
and send it over to you. remind me of what.
So the COG told me that the newer apps are like way better than the older ones and they're working really well.
I think we did some mapping and everything else, but it's obviously the landscape's changed, but just in case you don't have to duplicate anything, it's probably about 5, 6 years old now, so. I'd have to find it, sure we haven't seen it.
I think like West Hartford, Blue Diamond District, there's a box, but if you go in, you key in the spot that you're in, you pay with your card.
So right now, let's also think about this, when you talk about Old Firehouse Road. We have Meadow Street, we're gonna have ultimately Salem School, the basketball court. There'll be a lot of parking there. There'll be parking on Meadow Street, Church Street, Old Firehouse Road, the municipal lot, the lot behind Church Street, 80 spots from the state. In the new pedestrian lot across the river. So this will all take some time, but ultimately, yeah, it seems like we're heading in the right direction. If we need more, we'll have to figure it out. I guess that's a good problem. Okay. Besides, we're calling a meeting of our facade committee. We've got about 12 applications ready to vote on and approve. And they've all been worked on and approved and massaged. So we're gonna have about 12 facade improvement projects moving forward for the first batch. So it's going well, and Emily will be setting up that meeting, I'll say, probably next week. So that'll be moving forward. Murals, we're gonna vote on the downtown mural tonight. And we're also gonna be doing projects piece by piece all over town and just keep going. Same with the planters, we're gonna ultimately paint the planters. We can have different themes for the green, for down by 66 Church, whatever we want. We're also looking for artistic input from anyone who wants to be involved and ideas. So like when we have this meeting, let's all come up with ideas and we'll just keep making things better.
The one concern I have with all the painting improvements we're looking to put downtown, and it's really standing out now, that things are starting to look nicer. I know we're not gonna do the mural on the underpass because of the structural issues of getting places, but boy, that's ugly as sin. That trestle.
Oh, we're gonna paint it.
Yeah, something's gotta be done. Is that another thing? Is like are we at the mercy of the cranes and do they own that?
We're not at their mercy.
Okay.
But they have to say. The last time, I don't know how it happened, but someone just painted it, I don't really know who. It was the leprechauns from the Water Street Cafe, that's what I. But we'll deal with it. All right, any questions, downtown enhancements? By the way, when this comes up every month, anyone has an idea, let's talk about it. All right, vaping ordinance. This has become a hot issue. The zoning commission will be doing a zoning ordinance. We want to do a borough ordinance. I took the liberty of having Caitlin start working with the borough attorney. We want to have a subcommittee or a group and get going right away on an extremely strong vaping ordinance. Prohibiting whatever you can prohibit and making it as tight as we can lawfully. So the borough attorneys will be working on it with Caitlin. And is there anyone else that wants to join that group? Dorothy?
Join.
Okay. All right, so Dorothy and Caitlin. And we'll just keep talking about it every month until,
What other municipalities have this type of ordinance, do you know?
yeah, a lot.
Oh.
But it's, we had a forum conducted by the state a month or so
Yeah.
ago. And they suggested all types of, ordinances and things that can be done. And are being done. So it's not novel. There's also a new law that, we'll be working on with the borough attorney, where a property owner who has a tenant who has violated the law and been determined to have violated the law, the property owner is put on notice, and if it happens again, the property owner can be fined $10,000 per violation.
A day.
And that essentially what that means is that, that the landlord has to make sure his tenants, follow the law, or, he's got a problem.
Is there a restriction on how many vape locations you can have in a specific town?
Well, that would be done by zoning, so
Okay.
that'll be a separate ordinance that zoning will work on.
I mean, how many vapes can you have? I mean, Price, you got a church, you got a vape, you got a package
No.
store.
That's right next to the.
And then you got another vape in the church and a package store, and a pizza place,
So that's what we wanna
and a
do.
gas station.
Yeah, we wanna design something that will attack the current ones and try to prevent new ones. So zoning will focus on like the colors of the sign and the lights and how far from each other they can be and things like that. Where the town ordinance would focus on like maybe a license, thing like similar to
We're gonna
the.
prohibit certain things.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
They're gonna say, no, flavored vapes, no kratom, no
Yeah,
whatever.
cause it's
Stuff like that.
the illegal like THC products that are the
right.
violations. You could also change how it's being sold. You could mandate that everything's behind a counter, everything's behind glass in a vape store, so it's not accessible to kids.
The most important part is what you can't sell, and then if
Yes.
they violate that and they get arrested,
Yep.
the property owner can be responsible.
Yeah, different towns, some towns have just done a clear like Milford did a moratorium, Westport did a
We're not
ban.
doing the moratorium.
I'm just
We
giving
don't need to
examples.
study it. We know we're against it. We're gonna prohibit as much as we can.
Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. Like Hartford tried to ban the flavors.
Yeah.
You gotta, be tricky too, because you can't be stricter than the state's regulations, so.
But aren't the flavors illegal in the state? That's what he said in some of them.
Yeah, I don't know, because I did more research on that, and Hartford has banned the flavors, but that's not a state law, so.
Well, the state's attorney said it was.
To ban flavored?
That's what he said.
vapes?
Do some research now.
With this landlord thing, how can you transfer liability to somebody else? That'd be like me
Well-
murdering you and she goes to jail.
Well, it's a state law. The state law says that, and I'm paraphrasing it, but if the property owner has a tenant who has previously violated a law regarding vaping, and the property owner is put on notice by a town that has an ordinance like this, he can be he can be found responsible for subsequent violations. And then it's incumbent on him to pay the fine or get it from his tenant or do something about it.
Sounds crazy to me. You're transferring liability to somebody that's not liable. Does he have a better?
Well, I would say this, like, in my building, I wouldn't allow a vaping store for many reasons.
Right.
But I can tell you this, if I knew that I could be fined $10,000, I wouldn't even,
Yeah, you're about
I wouldn't even think about it.
I think sometimes too, the whole thing is. You wanna rent your space up, you don't wanna have an empty space, problem. Some guys just make a quick buck, will let anyone go in, but if they know going in that if I let these guys in who've gotten in trouble doing illegal stuff. Hopefully it's a deterrent.
It's interesting. Is it easier to evict somebody after they've already done something illegal?
Yeah, well,
Well, I mean, you know how evictions work. I mean, it takes forever.
well,
But
most leases
yeah,
say that if you violate the law, you can be evicted.
ASAP. Or is there a
But
certain?
ASAP has a little.
Exactly. So it could take 60 to 90 to 120 days.
Yeah,
And also depends on the time of the year. Just can't keep somebody.
No, if there is a violation, does the police department have the ability to come in and shut that establishment
Yeah.
down for X amount of days? And in that time frame, does that maybe sets the time frame for the owner of the property to evict that person in
so yes, Colin, didn't you say at that forum
Enforcement.
that you can close them down?
Yeah, I think it was through the pre-existing, the nuisance ordinances, or else bringing suit against them for the sale. However, us working with DCP, or Department of Consumer Protections, can cite those violators, but we can't do it ourselves. That's why when we do our enforcement operations, it has to be a joint one.
Yeah.
So we can still issue for sale to minors or other prohibited items, but to actually have the license holder revoked, we need DCP there for us.
Okay,
So we go out usually as a team.
yeah.
And they've been good with us, usually about once a quarter, but doing it any more than that, we need to get on the list.
So they're the ones that will determine the time frame.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, same thing with like the liquor commission, they establish.
There is a ban.
There's no.
So we're obviously gonna follow the law and do it in a lawful way, but we want it to be, at least I want it to be as strict as possible. Whatever is allowed by law.
And that was one of the reasons they did want to work with us, is because we do have standing enforcement operations about once a quarter. So they do have a good relationship, and they're aware of the fact that we are on top of it, but you know, it's still try our best, but it's a big issue, so.
How often do you go to the variety of different vape places in town just to walk in and see what they're doing?
I'd say we do it once a quarter with DCP to try to do the underage sales. We need their staff. They have trained minors that can make controlled purchases.
Yeah.
The issue usually is identifying the merchandise that's on sale. You really need them there to do the weighs and know what it is and to do a check of the things. So unless it's prohibited sale of like marijuana outside of a dispensary, usually it's hard for us. So. But I mean, if something comes up where we identify a place, usually through contacts in the BOE or the youth advocates, we'll target a certain location and know that they're doing that. Outside of that, but generally once a quarter we do it across the board to stay consistent, so we're not targeting appropriate for business. And in a positive note, we do only have 2 or 3 violations the last time we did it, which was down substantially from the last time. So making progress.
Cool.
Right. So we'll be anxiously awaiting your report next month.
I'm excited to present it. Dorothy and I will be on it.
All right. Destination Naugatuck branding townwide promotion. So this is here for discussion purposes, but it comes up in a variety of ways. And I would say that next year, we're definitely gonna be doing things in this direction, probably in conjunction with some of the downtown developers and other people. But the NEDC thinks that we should start doing things like this now. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm all for starting it and expanding it, as we go. But we'll have to do it before we adopt our budget and I guess talk about it, well, we can talk about it now, but come up with a concept of, starting it off, seeing where it takes us and then expanding it next year.
I think in the world we're in now, the world where print media has died.
Right.
And expanded, not done, for sure. We need to have a new way of communicating. And even if it was a position that someone held, a person who was a director of communication, public relations, we really need that. Someone who knows how to navigate the most modern mediums for getting information out, being able to set things up. It's something we really need to investigate, because if we want to get past I didn't know that was happening. For the people who live in this town, that's a problem already. Now, if you're talking destination Naugatuck, we're going to try and communicate to people outside of Naugatuck. So we have to have a much broader form of communication in the most modern senses now, and really understand a well-made flyer sitting in the lobby of town hall ain't going to cut. It has to be a lot more on the high-end stuff, and there's talent out there.
Oh, no doubt.
And we could utilize.
Any idea, what we're thinking about from a monetary standpoint to start the program? I have a number in my head, but what's in your head?
I would not even know where to start, because you have to pay someone to do it. I'm sure you probably have to contract somebody at this point, because you don't want to create a position.
And, it isn't like we've never done this. In fact, we have one right now, Destination Naugatuck.
Yeah.
It requires initial work and constant monitoring, and things change, and I'll bet you 40% of what's in there now has changed since it was done 5 or 6 years ago. But so I think it's going to require some initial branding, marketing, things like that, websites. But it's going to also, as we go further, require constant monitoring, nurturing, and really getting the word out.
Your success is only as good as the content and the flow of content, and people wanting to go to get the information is going to be a must. I mean, I've got to give credit to the Board of Ed. Caitlin does a great job with getting information out, trying to connect all the stakeholders, the leagues, and different events, stuff going on in town, and effectively uses the Our School communication system like that. Before hers, Lorraine did a good job too. But we need something like that, I think, in the town side.
Yeah, and it's harder for the town because we don't have a captive audience and students.
Exactly. We'd have to get people to sign up for things.
Right.
But we'd have to have someone who has a good marketing skill in the modern mediums to get the word out.
Is it too expensive to use our phone system, whatever program we have now, to get the word out on important things like maybe the bonding or some festivals?
What you mean, code
The
red?
code red, is
They're
that?
not supposed to use it.
No.
That's for emergency
For
purposes.
emergency.
I think it's like two separate things a little bit. Like if we're branding, are we like rebranding? Are we like picking a new font, right? Or new like design guidelines for flyers or posters? Like that's what I think of with branding, right? And then the part two would be pushing that out for communication.
Lorraine for the district, Lorraine Weschler, she did.
Yeah.
She did it simultaneously.
Yeah.
She was creating the rebranding at the same time as restructuring the instruments.
Because that's what I was gonna say. We're also talking about like having a central place for people to find things. So then it's like getting into the website a little
Right.
bit. So
It's much more than one thing.
yeah,
It's a whole
lot,
bunch of
yeah.
things. It includes signs on trains from New York City up the branch line that would say something like promoting Naugatuck House. And I think the developers would help pay for that too. So you want to attract people from far away. You want people who are here to know what's going on. We want to improve and enhance our image. We want to have a theme. You know, like what is the theme and art? What is our,
That's what a brand agency could help us do. They could
Right.
give us like taglines, they would give us new guideline fonts,
so
colors, yeah.
it's at least there's three
That's a
things
part of
right
it,
there,
yeah.
so.
I've been here over 40 years and never heard of one of those taglines from Arlington.
I mean, it's
Great place
worth,
to live.
it's worth entertaining the fact that, you know, the Noggy Now brand is actually fairly up to date and fresh
I was gonna say.
and can be used for this.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah, we talked a while ago, and I think I talked to Jim about it, and trying to get a town-wide app that we could put on, people could put on their phone. And that would be like a central place that you would go to find out what's going on. And I was talking to people at the YMCA, like they could feed information into that. Our town can feed information. So Jim, that's
Sure.
something we had talked about, but I think, yeah, I just didn't have time to follow through. So I don't know if that's a possibility. I think people are more apt to go to an app on their phone and say, what's going on today in town? And it's right there.
It's an option. We can explore some costs and what's involved, timing, the amount of time it takes that I think the mayor's kind of leaning is you're kind of moving down a road where to keep all this information fresh and moving, you're gonna have to invest a fair amount of time. So how we divvy up the time as to who's going to be doing what is also part of this process. As well as what information do we want to make sure that we're always pumping out there constantly.
And what's important to go out, what isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
As
Right.
well as, you know, you have your important messages and you have your emergency messages, but you also have the, hey, you know, we're trying to utilize our new signs up, you know, that we've got up in the front, at the top of Maple Street. And, you know, whether it's Easter egg hunts or we've got a festival or something like that, we want to try to start utilizing any form of media we have to get the word out. Because nobody's using one, they're using it all. So where do we want it to be so that somebody's eyes get on it, they need to.
Right. That's why I thought if we could centralize it, it would be nice and make it easier.
As much as I hate to, excuse me, I'm sorry, this is Kim. As much as I hate to suggest another committee, having put those kind of systems in place in two different school systems, you really have to start with a committee that looks at every aspect of what the rules are going to be for what goes on it. And they're going to have to be followed strictly, or else it becomes, the government is promoting its own stuff, its own agenda, and not anybody else's, or they're promoting one business over another business. So I think that Jim would need a lot of guidance from a lot of different sectors before we started to create anything. I do think an app is about as fresh and current as you can get. And it would be accessible to a lot of people, but that's just one opinion.
That's why I put it here just to start. There's a lot of moving parts. And I think all I'm saying is, let's start, and just keep making it better and better. And ultimately, we're probably gonna need a full-time person to take care of everything.
As much as people hate Facebook, you can go to what's happening in Naugatuck and every group in town is letting you know what's happening with their group. You're the leader. We don't have that here with the town.
I think an app is a lot, like that would be great in like a perfect scenario. I think more, maybe the minimum would just be like some kind of events. It's an extension of the website, and events like a digital events calendar,
I'm sure
where,
the other towns have already done this.
yes, like I would agree that
We could probably adopt.
yeah, I think the Noggy Now content it does a good job of communicating. There's always gonna be that argument. We could blow up a billboard that's 20 feet long with the events calendar, and people are gonna say they didn't know what was happening. Like, that's always gonna be something. So I think a centralized events calendar that's digital is I think that's a good goal. And I think it'd be interesting to meet with a branding or a marketing agency, and they would like interview people and research, and then they would give us taglines or things like that. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, we were talking with someone about, what, a tagline, whatever you want to call it, but what is our brand, right? And, we're no longer the rubber city, right? We used to be the rubber city.
Right.
What are we now? That's, it's a good question.
How about if we're known as the port?
What?
The port.
Well, it's part of what we are, but it's not what we are.
What do other communities do? Do you know, like such Waterbury, for an example, did they hire somebody to do this?
Yeah, but let me just say that I would like to do it more efficiently and better.
Oh, I get it.
They spent a couple $1 million.
Well, which is absurd.
I don't,
No, no.
I don't, I think there's
Hire
better
somebody who
ways.
has no skin in the game.
There are smaller agencies. I know exactly who you're talking about. There are smaller agencies that we could look at in that same vein. Because the work that was done for Waterbury was amazing. Really well done, touches on the history of the city. It did a lot of things right. But big city, big agency. I think we can do that with someone smaller and get similar results.
We had that company that came in that,
Was it Main?
we were on Main Street.
No, that's
Yeah, that's
like a marketing,
different, yeah.
they're like a marketing
That
firm.
was more supposed to be great.
Right, I'm gonna keep this here and we'll just keep going and we'll put some money in the budget, Eileen. Somewhere in the budget, we're gonna create a number before we adopt the budget. Oh, and also by way of announcements, if you didn't hear, we moved back the budget process by about 10 days. So you have to get your new dates.
Yeah.
Well, here they are. So, anyone who wants them, the process, final review, May 5th, presentation to the joint boards. And what we're gonna send to a public hearing, May 12th. Publish proposed budget May 13th. Public hearing, May 18th. Joint boards budget adoption, May 20th. So it's about 10 days later.
Bring the cake, because my birthday's right in the middle of that.
What's your birthday?
Well, happy birthday, May 19th, right in the middle.
You can have the night else. All right, senior center. Tim, Julie, anything you wanna bring up?
Sure. There's a lot of really, really cool new activities that Kara has in store for the seniors. Tiramisu class, going along with the Kentucky Derby, which is very cool. I'm not sure they're related, but I like it because I like tiramisu. Pizza making,
Don't forget my walking club.
don't forget Julie's Walking Club, where I'll be a reluctant volunteer. But it's really, it's a lot of fun. And when we walk into the senior center now, it's starting to be a different spirit. And a lot of the seniors want to come over and tell us how much fun they're having. And I think that's great. What'd I forget, Julie?
The hours, was that part of?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, you know those because you were at the meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. That's right. I was at the meeting. That's right. So the new hours for the senior center that have been officially set are 8 to 3. So we specifically talked in the elderly commission about how the perception, maybe not always the reality, but the perception is that after about 12:30, 1 o'clock, the place is a snooze. And, that's a terrible perception. And yeah, we heard some things to the contrary about that, but perception becomes reality. And I think it has for our senior center. So we talked a lot about that. And we talked about what the best hours for seniors would be in conjunction with when a bus might be available and so forth. And 8 to 3 that was the sweet spot for hours for the senior center.
Okay, thank you. All right, AI policy, Jim Kay, anything you want to bring up?
Yes, so after meeting with the new mayor, I did reach out to Norfolk Valley Council of Governments and spoke with the IT guy there. He forwarded me their policy and a slew of information. And I took one of those templates that I had found and kind of cobbled together a little bit of something that I think might work. And forwarded it off to Julie and Jose for their review, and we're gonna try to schedule a time in the coming weeks to be able to sit, have some coffee and just kind of hash out what we think's gonna be best and maybe we can come up with a draft. Obviously, it's gonna probably take 2 or 3 drafts to try to get where we wanna be. I don't want it to be as detailed as the massage parlor one, but at the same time, it, needs to kind of cover our bases and make sure that we're protected. For each individual department that's there, and that we can adopt some type of policy. So I expect it's probably gonna be a couple of months in the making, but we are slowly starting to make some steps.
Okay. Any thoughts from anyone? All right, we're gonna proceed to item 13 now. Before we start, are you prepared for this, Rocky?
Yes, sir. Can I make the motion and it has to be shot down first? Or can I make the motion with changes?
Make the motion and changes.
So.
2 changes.
It says in that motion.
Yeah.
As.
What are you gonna add to those changes?
I'm gonna add to it, so I'm gonna do it from here.
Right.
Good.
I hope. Motion of the Board of Maine Burgess adopt ordinance number 139, hereby creating a new article BI, massage therapy establishment section 12-106 -12-119 in chapter 12 of the code ordinance of the Borough of Naugatuck, Connecticut, which reads as follows with the following changes. Under section 12-107 definitions, small letter C, the word obscenity will be removed. Under section 12-109, small letter A, remove the paragraph that states, borough shall not issue a massage therapy establishment license that will result in more than 2 such establishments being licensed to operate simultaneously in the borough unless otherwise permitted by the borough zoning regulations. Did I do okay?
You got one more.
One more.
Yeah, on page 9.
9, yeah.
So strike.
Subset, subset of 12-109.
The number 11.
I'll find it.
You want it?
Right.
You have it.
Page 9 on our agenda.
Yes.
So you want me to go exactly to the
Yellow.
Number 11.
Okay.
The number 11. See, it says.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Also number 11, the following word shall be removed. The license if issued would result in more massage therapy establishment licenses being in effect than authorized under subparagraph small a of section 12-109 small a as if read.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go first to Zoom on the roll call. Julie Rosenblatt,
Yes.
Tim Gallo,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yes.
Jose,
Yes.
Dorothy,
Yes.
Bob. Yes. Rocky.
Yes, Mayor Hess.
I am yes. Mike,
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. So you'll take care of the rest of it? Okay.
I never forget anything.
Ooh, yes.
Good for your mind.
All right, so I appoint Amelia McAllister, 107 Deepwood Road, Naugatuck, as a regular member of the Arts Commission, filling the expired term of F. Alcaraz, term to expire 4/1/28. And I reappoint the following regular members to the Arts Commission, terms to expire 4/1/28. As if read, but I'll read them anyway. Aldona Laporta, Deborah Healy, Gary Spring, Matthew Tansley, Francis Santana, and Jeffrey Erdman. I also reappoint Deputy Chief Daniel Nork as a member of the Northwest Connecticut Public Safety Communications Center, term to expire 4/1/28.
Votes on the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the appointment of Christine Healy, R. 112 Field Street, second floor, Naugatuck, as an alternate tenant commissioner of the Fair Rent Commission, filling the unexpired term of James Eski, term to expire May 1st, 2027.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Votes for the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the appointment of Raymond Crusoe Jr., D. 136 Wedgewood Drive, Naugatuck, as a regular landlord commissioner of the Fair Rent Commission, filling the expired term of D. Bronco, term to expire May 1st, 2030, effective May 1st, 2026.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the reappointment of Nikki J. Colley, D. 223 Meadow Street, Naugatuck, as a regular tenant commissioner of the Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1st, 2030, effective May 1st, 2026.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize mayor has to waive the bid and execute all contracts and related documents with Faro Technologies, 125 Technology Park, Lake Mary, Florida, for the purchase of a Faro crime scene scanner in the amount not to exceed $58,000 as recommended by Chief of Police Colin McAllister.
Second.
Chief?
Just some background on this here. This is just a regional purchase that we're the fiduciary for. So we've pulled together funds from the Naugatuck Valley region to purchase this. We have funds from the police department that we budgeted about $2,600 is our contribution to get to the total of the $58,000. So it's actually kind of a cool piece of work. It looks like that owl right there in the middle, and it basically spins around the crime scene and gives you a fly through or walk through digital rendering of the scene. Primarily will be used for our regional accident reconstruction team, but can also be used in interior crime scene recreations. So it'll be a regional asset. Just because we're the largest agency in our little regional unit, we'll be doing the purchase and maintaining it, and it'll be a great addition. I'd also like to give a shout out to Ion Bank, who contributed $10,000 towards the purchase of this piece of equipment. It's definitely going to increase our capabilities out there. So that can be a good addition.
All right, any questions for the chief? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize mayor has to waive the bid and execute all contracts and related documents with Tax Management Associates Inc., Parkway Boulevard, Parkway Plaza Boulevard, Charlotte, North Carolina, to conduct personal property tax audits in an amount not to exceed $15,000 as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Kronakis.
Second.
This is a Shelby item?
I'm presenting it for Shelby. Do you need me to speak on it?
Yeah.
This is the budgeted item for the personal property audits. And Shelby tried to get some bids and there weren't a lot of interest. So because it exceeds the purchasing thresholds, we're asking for a waived bid. And Shelby did his due diligence with the agency and he's comfortable with it and he knows them. And there weren't a lot of takers.
Right. So normally a personal property tax audit results in new revenue, not always, but quite often. So it's usually a good thing to do periodically.
And the $15,000 is the amount that was budgeted for this year.
So that would be,
It's not an excess mandate.
but that would be approximately 3 large commercial audits,
Typically, but I believe it's gonna be just one.
just one.
Yes.
Oh,
Must be a big one.
Yeah.
okay.
Any other questions?
I don't even have to ask.
Sorry.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Maine Burgesses approve the following vendors to continue to provide goods and or services on passage and through June 30th, 2026, and to authorize the mayor has to execute all contracts and related documents as recommended by Controller Eileen A. Kronaka as of read.
Second.
Questions or discussion? This is just standard, right, Eileen?
These are just standard, these are just, we wanted to expand for the police department, raise automotive just in case our other vendors aren't available and they're relatively close. Rogue Fitness is for a purchase for, a fitness center for the police department, and SNS Transmission is kind of along the same line as Ray's, they want to add them back.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Maine Burgesses.
Do I want to do it now? No. No, I'm just joking. You want to do it now, I'll do it.
There's a vendor.
Okay. So you're gonna proceed to the event. You have one?
I do. Most of the Board of Maine Burgesses add to the agenda a motion to approve a vendor to continue to provide goods and or services.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgesses approves Sorinex Exercise Equipment Inc., Linton Drive, Lexington, South Carolina, as an approved vendor to continue to provide goods and or services upon passage and through June 30th, 2026, and to authorize mayor has to execute all contracts and related documents as recommended by Chief of Police C. Colin McAllister.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor Burgesses add to the agenda a motion to waive a bid with Civic Plus.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgesses waive the bid and authorize mayor has to execute all contracts related documents with Civic Plus, 302 South Fourth Street, Manhattan, Kansas, as recommended by Chief of Police C. Colin McAllister.
Second.
Discussion. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion of the Board of Maine Burgesses approve the bid for contract fiscal year 27-B113 for fireworks display July 4th, 2026, rain date July 5th, 2023, to Central Maine Pyrotechnics, DBA Pyro City, Maine, Hallowell, Maine, in the amount of $45,000 as recommended by Superintendent of Parks, Chandra Lucas Ribeiro.
All right, so let's not forget that this 4th of July is the 250th anniversary of our nation. And there will be a town festival, fireworks, and other events. The Historical Society, I think the Y, the Veterans Council, and probably more are gonna collaborate into a pretty big day in August, capped off by fireworks. Where when you do a fireworks bid, you do an amount. In other words, it's different than most bids. You pick what you're willing to pay, and then the vendors propose a show, what they'll do for that price. So this is an effort to get a fancier show. And why don't you tell us what we.
So we said that
what we got?
we put out the formal bid. We got one bidder, which was Central Maine Pyrotechnics. We are, in years past, we didn't do it on 4th of July. One was to kind of kick off, some years was to kick off the weekend, other ones was because we wanted more bang for our buck, literally, because there was a premium on fireworks if it was actually on 4th of July. The company we've been dealing with the last few years, Central Maine Pyrotechnics, does not charge a premium, whether it's on the 4th of July or the 3rd of July. And this year, conveniently enough, it's landing on Saturday, which is the 4th of July. We have a rain date scheduled for July 5th. We did set a price of $45,000 for the display. An increase, one based on, obviously with tariffs and everything else, the price has gone up. So in order to keep a significant show, we had to raise the price. And then the other reason was, which it is the 250th anniversary of our great nation, so we wanted to make it even more spectacular. And making it more spectacular required that we go to 8-inch aerial shells, which we got approval from the fire marshal to go 8-inch shells down on the Breeds complex, which based on some help with Fred from the GIS and the fire marshal's office, we were able to pull it off. 8-inch shells are important because for every inch of shell, you get 100 feet of height. So making it 8-inch shells, so between 6 and 8-inch shells, that shell's gonna be 50% visible from the entire town, most likely. With obviously due to the 250th anniversary, there's gonna be specialty ones and other additions to make it even that more special to end up.
Okay, so do we get any feedback on that?
We did, he submitted some different barrages, different specialty shows. We're gonna end up with some 250s in the year, USAs in the year.
What do you mean 250?
Like the 250, the number 250, the letters USA.
Wow.
And then there's just specialty barrages that he submitted that we typically don't get into our show.
Would it be possible for you to show those to the men?
I can't, well, some of these are just, these are the traditional patterns. But you really have to search, like what he highlighted, you have to search that online, which I did, I can send them to you if you'd like, but, you know, there's.
So what is the 250?
The 250 is already shown there, they haven't launched them yet, they just created them specifically for that, so until there's a show probably closer to the 4th of July, you won't have a visual.
Do they have like Pete's the Man?
That was the first one, that's how it starts off the show.
Burroughs Field, nothing to the sky, that would go the Burroughs Seal, that would be.
No, it's gonna parachute
Great.
through the fireworks.
Red, white, blue cape.
There we go.
They're gonna put one of the shells in upside down. Oh,
The show's gonna end up being a little bit more significant, I think it's usually a 15 to 18 minute show, this one's gonna be like a 23-minute show. So should go well.
Where's that teacher?
Okay, questions for Sandra? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Most of the Board of Maine Purchase authorized mayor has entered to a mural installation and maintenance agreement with Rise Up in an amount not to exceed $52,640.
Second. So this is the same number. The only difference is it's gonna be on the back of, I'll call it the old Salem Theater, the big building over there.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed here though is it seems like they may have changed the concept a bit, which is not what we agreed to originally.
I don't know what you're looking at.
So I'm looking at the picture that you
Do I
put
see
in with the contract. So they've changed it a bit and we haven't seen the revision.
But this doesn't, oh. Yeah, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
about it.
so these were kind of some of the last ones we were talking about before. And so it doesn't, I mean, this wasn't the final, but they made some adjustments to that one, but I don't know what the final looked like, but it doesn't look like what's in that contract.
They have to make adjustments because it changes the
Yeah, I get that the
Yeah,
scope's gotta be bigger, but they've also added some other visuals there that we didn't even talk about originally.
Francis, they also.
No, I talked to her about that not too long ago, and I says, you guys should at least come to the meeting and tell us what you guys have changed in.
Is it
awful? No, it's not awful, it's just that the scale is kind of small.
Can I see it? Yeah.
Oh,
You know, it's in your packet.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, wasn't it? I didn't.
Oh, mine may be the only one that's in color, because I furnished it from my house.
She's special.
No, could have looked back there.
So what's this? What, this a guy?
There's a guy standing there.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
We talking about the iron worker?
There's an iron worker in there. Oh, your color's better.
Yeah, it's an iron worker,
Yeah.
pouring molten iron out of a
That's not-
bucket.
From the original concept, there was no iron worker in the original
Like
concept.
those poor guys shoveling dirt nowhere.
This at least is more, you know,
No, I get that, you know, there was a committee formed to talk about it, we
Right.
agreed on a
Let's do
concept.
it this way. Is there anyone who is against this design?
Kind of finding to be, see it, it's not part of it.
Why don't we do this? Let's vote it through, but we'll also get a bigger one, and I won't sign the contract until we look at it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
All right. Could you do that, Nancy, would you have them send us a bigger, rendition of this so we can see it more clearly?
And ask them like what they've made changes to the original concept.
Well, I assume we'll, if it's bigger, we'll be able to see it. All I see is that guy.
Looks like a millbee.
So what is people, yeah,
I like
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah, my color isn't as good as that
See
one.
the bridge in the
Is the
middle.
font final for Naugatuck?
I don't know what the
Pass. I do.
So that's the whole thing, you know, the font, you know, people set fonts rules, we had a whole font rule.
Yeah.
For me, just for my clarification, the Arts Commission
There,
in the mirror?
yeah, and then I think
Oh, the artist.
Right, up.
And is there any feedback on this at all, or this is the design?
Let's say, we previously approved it.
Got it. Okay,
The
sorry.
building changed, so looks like they made it a little longer. And added something. I think I like it, I just don't know what the guy's doing.
It looks
I
like
think he's an iron
industrial,
worker.
yeah, it's an industrial representation.
Does it look weird that it doesn't cover the whole building, that it like stops? It almost
Well, that's,
looks like it should keep going.
A bit.
it looks very yellow.
I do like,
I'm not an artist, I'm not gonna. Yeah, got it.
if it's already been approved, I'm not here to mince words. I mean, I
That's
like
not
it.
the design that was approved.
What we're
I
gonna
think it looks
do
weird. I think it looks like it should keep going.
is, we're gonna vote it through. Nancy's gonna have them bring in a larger version. We will display it in the mayor's office. And a week or so, anyone who wants to see it can come in and look. And if there's a big ruckus, I won't sign the contract, we'll bring it back here. If there's no ruckus, we're done. Okay?
Sounds good.
No, they took that one out, but I was just saying, I don't think we ever got the final, but this was.
I guess I do have one question if we know. Is the background gonna be that blue color? They're gonna paint the building bluish in the back?
I don't know. The one thing they did do is what we recommended was change the colors of the Naugatuck from blue to that garnet and gray.
I think I like the blue.
I like the book.
Yes.
That's gonna like it, because it's gonna clean his building.
Yeah.
When they were first talking about where to put it downtown, when they got denied, I think I was thinking, I was the first thing I was thinking, I think they'll appreciate it.
All right,
It's an addition, so it looks like the design work of finding the fire.
Rocky,
This is what's hard about these things though, is that there's so many opinions, you know, it's hard to.
Acceptable.
all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Motion that the Board of Maine Burgess authorize the purchase of 889 New Haven Road, Naugatuck, in the amount of $2,500,000, and to authorize Mayor Hess to take all actions necessary and proper to carry out the purchase of 889 New Haven Road, including the execution of any documents or agreements or amendments thereto. Second.
So this is the Hershey property that we've discussed many times. The only change is gonna be in the next motion. We've been informed by our lending attorney that, the decision can't be made by the borough board, it has to be made by the joint boards. So we're, referring this to the joint boards. We'll have a special meeting. And we will vote to borrow the money from our fund balance. So we don't pay interest, we will just lose interest. That we're receiving. What's the interest rate on the money in the fund balance in that steep account?
The stiff and iron bank are paying us in the high threes, I think it might be like low fours and high threes, it changes every day.
But it's around 3% or so.
It's high threes.
High throughs.
That's still good
Yeah.
for us.
Okay,
Yeah. And it won't affect our bond rating.
correct. Well, you asked, that's what the bond was attorney, so you did, and I'm not saying that. We're also gonna pay it back. Um. All right, so on item 25, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 26.
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses refer to the joint boards of Mayor and Burgesses and Board of Finance, the withdrawal of $2,500,000 from the borough's budget reserve fund to finance the purchase of 889 New Haven Road in Naugatuck. Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to enter into an agreement with SLR International Corporation, 45 Glastonbury Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut, to provide project management and completion of a release remediation report for 226 Rubber Avenue in an amount not to exceed $40,000. The cost of the consulting and remediation work will be reimbursed through a $90,000 revolving loan sub-grant from Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. Second.
All right, so this is the old recycling center. And a few things cropped up. So we got funding from COG to take care of them. And then we did.
Time frame on that,
What?
what's the time frame on it?
Well, when we approve the next motion, we'll be entering into a contract to get the work done, like in the summer.
Hopefully it'll work out. There'll be a building there at some point.
This is our third, I think, effort to finish it. Any questions on 27? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses authorize Mayor Hess to sign a contract with Red Technologies, 173 Pickering Street, Portland, Connecticut, in an amount not to exceed $49,785 to excavate and dispose of contaminated soil from area RA-1 to 26 Rubber Avenue. The cost will be reimbursed through a $90,000 revolving loan sub-grant to the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. Thank you.
Question, so Red Tech, they're the company that did all the work on parcel B, we like them a lot, we're glad they did. And they'll get it done quickly, I think.
Were they bringing new fill in?
I guess.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're just not capping it with the building.
Well, it's in an area where there's no building.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Most of the Board of Mayor and Burgesses evade taxes on real property located at 48 Beacon Manor Road, parcel number 05053-3550 in the amount of $7,399.84 taxes on the 2017 grand list through the 2020 grand list as recommended by tax collector James Cochran. Second.
Eileen, do you know about this?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You told me, I don't remember, it was nothing.
Must be unplugged.
That's what I think it is. I think it comes up in the like.
John Silio's house.
What?
John Silio's house.
Yeah, the last, it used to be the house with the last one, and then the diamonds that go over it. That's what we.
So, the borough took over the property? So, you can't tax ourselves, so we're raising the taxes? Well, hold on. All right, okay, I didn't see it. Let me see what it says.
Thanks.
So the borough owned this for a while, they sold it. So the taxes don't begin for the new owner until we sell it to them and it's in their name. So we're abating taxes during a period when the borough owned it. So they shouldn't have been taxed. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Mayor and Burgess authorize controller Eileen A. Canacchia to refund the following tax refunds approved by tax collector James Goggin as in print. Second.
Questions? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Public comment. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? Jim? Nope. Derek? Mayor and Burgess comments? Caitlin? I called on you because you weren't paying attention.
I was paying attention, I was ready, I have my, don't worry. My biggest comment was just gonna be around the vape store ordinance and that I'm at all the meetings I'm supposed to be at. Zoning, I went to the senior commission meeting, I'm gonna go do bingo on Friday at the senior center. So yeah. I actually haven't been to the senior center in a while. I feel bad. So on like outside of the meeting. So on Friday it should be good.
All right, Jose.
Anything this month?
Okay, Dorothy.
I don't have anything.
Bob.
I'm all set. UConn season's over, so I'm ready for the next.
As we are well aware.
I'm shocked of the West.
And when if you don't play well.
Rocky.
On Saturday, the 4th, the police department held a sensory safety day. And they had parents with children on the spectrum come in. They showed them a video to get them used to what happens if you see red flashing lights and hear a siren and a police car pulls you over. So that the children knew what would happen and the parents knew what would happen. They gave out a lot of nice stuff. They had a great video. It was an absolutely wonderful presentation. Having a nephew that's autistic and nonverbal, it really strikes home that if something does happen, how are they going to react? And this was just a great program that was put on by the PD, so they know what to expect in a traffic stop. And say the Exchange Club has a blue ribbon ceremony on the green for awareness, and it was a nice program they put on every single year, a nice ceremony for the awareness for child abuse. That's it.
All right, let's go to Julie Rosenblatt.
I have nothing other than what we've discussed already with the senior center. I would ask all my fellow Burgesses and the mayor and Nancy to keep my niece in their prayers. I'm in Pennsylvania and she's getting a kidney transplant tomorrow. The kidney is being flown from Georgia to the University of Penn, where she's having surgery tomorrow afternoon. So we're hoping everything goes okay. She's 56 years old and the person donating is about the same age. So we're very excited this is happening.
Wow, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Tim.
I think a huge kudo needs to go to our whole community for the way we responded to the unfortunate death of the City Hill student. I was very, very impressed with all of the support. And most important, these kind of events can turn into a very divisive thing very quickly. And that began almost from the beginning with folks tying it to an issue that is also very important, but had nothing to do with this death. assuming facts that weren't in evidence. And I felt that the way that was handled was kind and respectful of that important issue as well, without dragging that poor family down a road that was horrible and should never, ever have occurred. I think we did a wonderful job of handling that as a committee. It could have gone very poorly, and what happened instead was the family and our students got a lot of support in a difficult issue. I was very, very proud of that, and I think it's one of the things that stands our community out above others, and it should always be celebrated.
If I can add to that, the mom is a student at adult ed, and she's in my class on Wednesday night. And she was in my class the night that this happened. And I have visited her several times, and it's very difficult. But the one thing she always says is she loves Naugatuck, she loves the support, and she couldn't get through this without everybody here. So it was such a nice thing to hear. The holiday was tough for her at Easter. We talked for a little while, and not easy. It's not going to be easy, but she loves the town, and the support has been wonderful.
All right, thank you. Mike.
Yes, I have a question and request for Jim Stewart, since he's still here. Hi, Jim. How are you doing? Good. It's about Bombers Pond Playground. Yes. Eileen and I took our grandkids there the other day. And we noticed that a lot of the mulch and everything else has been washed away. And there's a lot of stones and rocks that are exposed that kids can get hurt on.
Yeah, I will talk to Sandra and.
So I know that's getting redone. But in the meantime, can we do something
safe? Yeah.
Can we do something to make it safer?
Yeah.
Okay.
We brought that up last year.
Who did?
I did. I took pictures and presented them.
Charlie.
All right, the Arts Commission meeting, they did settle their summer concert series. They're kicking off June 23rd. They're gonna have a patriotic flair with the Naugatuck Community Band doing a patriotic and pops concert. Opening for them will be the Matatuck Fife and Drum. So it'll be a fun event to kick it off on a couple days into the summer, the 23rd of June. They're gonna go all the way to September 18th, ending at the Harvest Moon Festival. There's a good mix of bands. June 30th, Shaded Soul. July 7th, the band Acid Wash. I think Dorothy brought to the table to help the Arts Commission find a new act. On Bastille Day, July 14th, we have 4 in a row. And July 21st, Bahama Mama. The 28th of July, you have Sneaky Miles. Leo Little Big Band. So we're gonna bring a little bit of big band sound back to the concerts. We haven't had that in a long time. On August 4th, August 11th, Alley Cat and Revelators. And on August 18th, we have the Sun Kings coming back. Harvest Moon Festival will feature Measured Soul on the Friday night. Plus, they're going to be hiring acts for the remainder of that activity. Well, not the Arts Commission, but the folks who run Harvest Moon. Also, sandwiched in there is the music crawl. That they're going to be doing downtown. It's fully booked. Mark your calendars. August 8th, Crazy 8th, 8th month, 8th day. On that Saturday, there's going to be music starting around 1, I believe, and going all the way into the night, with the closing act being the Grateful Dead tribute band. Shakedown Street will be closing it up.
Uncle John's band.
But along the way, there's also quite a few good bands that we've had in our part of our regular summer series that are going to be doing 1-hour sets. And the cool thing about it is, you're not committed to sit through a whole 2-hour concert. They're basically 45-minute sets, but you have to set up and break down. Listen to different styles. It's going to be a little bit of country. There's going to be some ethnic music, Irish music. I believe Finca's coming back. The island sounds. That band. So it's really great. A little bit of everything, and you can just, like a smorgasbord, just taste a little bit of different styles of music, and it'll all end with a good vibes night on the green. Grateful Dead.
And they're gonna be set up throughout the town so that, it'll kind of.
All throughout downtown, yeah.
The whole walkthrough of all the changes that we've made downtown.
So it will be a wonderful event.
Nice haircut, Charlie.
Yeah, when did that take place?
This I JP'd away. The hair kept falling into my eyes at the end of it. Walked over there, I said, get my haircut. For the first time in 2 years since my mom's funeral, that I had a full haircut. Can you touch it? No.
Well, there's a first.
I can't say that about Jose, he has no hair.
Yeah, you go.
Just, it's a short, Mike, the OG barber, I'm representing, highly recommend, he did a great job, perfection cuts. Also to speak to the tragic incident that happened to City Hill student. I also want to make sure that we, also keep in mind the staff and the teachers that work with the student on a regular basis. It was exceptionally difficult for the staff, but I was really pleased with how the staff at City Hill really circled the wagons to support the teachers, the family, the students, the quick reaction of our guidance people and our social work people, the way they all addressed it immediately, professionally, and most importantly, with heart, with caring. And it was really well done. And again, to speak to what Kim had said, it was really a great way the community came together. And the community of City Hill, every school is a tight-knit community in and of its own, with staff and students, and it spreads out throughout the town. And I was really, my heart goes out to everyone involved in it. Let's not forget those that were teachers in the building as well, that worked with the students.
Thank you. All right, Rocky 33.
Motion to recess to executive session at 9 PM for discussion of the following: real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z. Notuck Industrial Park Section 3, freight rail discussion, Energy Park Data Center, Hershey Property, Riverview Mobile Home Park, personnel, DPW Director James Stewart, and pending litigation. Inviting in, no one.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're in executive session. All right, I got 9:38, and coming out of executive session, I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into an employment agreement with James Stewart for the title of Director of DPW, WPCA, and Borough Engineer for a 3-year term commencing May 1, 26, terminating June 30th, 29, as discussed in executive session.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and the document will become a public document upon signing.
Good.
Next motion.
Motion to adjourn at 9:39.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you.